Good day, everyone. So I'm back for my little break here that I took. You see, this thing has just kind of been going sideways, man. Today, what's today? Wednesday is the Fed rate decision. So we'll now get word of what the Fed decides to do, whether they're going to hike further, whether they're going to keep the rates the same, whether they're going to pause or whether they're just going to skip. So those are things that we're going to find out later. So I do think the market is gearing up for a move now. The direction of the move is not clear to me, right? So I'm gonna let it simmer. It's either going to fall really hard or we're gonna get a nice big rally, right? And the reason I say it's unclear is I'll show you guys a few things here. You might already notice with these trend lines that I've drawn, but I'll start with this over here. So as we can see on this chart, we've broken this trend line, but it's not quite convinced me. It could potentially be a fake out, but as you see, we have support, 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 and let's move down to a smaller time frame. Support, 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 and we are now currently sitting against that trend line, which could potentially act now as a resistance, sending us further down, right? If we look at some further confluences here, let's see if I throw a trend line on this one here, you'll see resistance, resistance, breaks resistance, there's a support, 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 breaks back below support, this has resistance, resistance, back above, support, back below, resistance in this area that we have here, right? So I'm going to mark this little area here as area of interest number 1 that I'm looking at. We could potentially fall from here, right? If we look at this anchored VWAP, let's just quickly go back to the daily. You see we had our anchored VWAP from the low. We had a bounce from there. We place another anchored VWAP from that bounce. We had a bounce from there. We place another anchored VWAP from that bounce. And we had a bounce from there again, and I placed another anchored VWAP from that bounce, right? So we're currently sitting beneath it, or let's just say at it, right? You can see it acted as support and resistance as well. Support, resistance, support, support, potential resistance. Alright? We take an anchored VWAP from this last peak here. Resistance, resistance, resistance could act as this potential resistance here. Also just want to put an anchored VWAP from the peak also in this area here, right? So, I do think maybe a potential what we have is, let's say now goes sideways for today. We get the news tonight and it signals what the next move of the Fed is, etc. Might push up, because now this looks like a sell. So now they take out any sellers that were here and then perhaps close back down below, something like that. So I'm going to be monitoring this area here as my area of interest 1 for a potential down move. But like I said, it could still push a little further up. I'm going to take this away so it's not so busy, and then I'll send this chart to the group. Right? That's scenario 1. Scenario 2 is, because I've seen this happen many times before. As you guys can see, we are in a triangle formation here, with resistance here at the peak, over here, and over here, right? So what could potentially happen is that this is like a fake out. It breaks back above, breaks up. Now we think, okay, we're going further, but then instead it breaks out and then breaks back below, like just completely screwing with everyone. You understand what I'm saying? So these are little things that I've seen happen many times before, and just that I have in the back of my mind, right? So that's scenario 1. There's a text. Is that we get a push up into here, a drop, right? Let's go to scenario 2. Let me just save this quick. Okay, that one's saved. Now, where is this trend line that this one. Take away that. There. Let's go back to the daily. Let's say this is just a squeeze through this area, right? And I actually want to show you guys on the linear scaling. I'll get to that one now. So as you guys can see, we have resistance over here, resistance over here, resistance over here, resistance over here, breaks back below, messes with us, and it's currently acting as support. Does that support hold? So this is why I think this is a possibility of us dropping, bouncing, and maybe we push a little bit further up, perhaps to form a lower low, or a lower high from this peak, or a equal high. So it's either a move up or a move down like that. While I've been waiting for this upwards trend line over here to break, right? The reason it's not completely clear to me what this move is because we're sitting between this resistance and this potential support here, this area here, right? So I'm going to wait until there's something clearer. If we go to, this is now the linear chart, right? The regular chart. The other one is the logarithmic. Right, if you look at the linear chart, we've got the same level of resistance here. Just take this away from now. Resistance, right? Acting now as potential support. If we go down to the smaller time frame and we look at this level of support here from this trend line, support, and looks like all of the support, somewhat close to support, and then this here. So on the regular chart, linear scaling, we're still above that trend line, but on the logarithmic, we're currently sitting below that trend line. So yeah, this is a very tricky one. I think maybe one draws another little trend line here. You see it bounced off here. This was a nice potential entry there. Broken back above that. Maybe we get during the day going sideways, we get another push down here. And then perhaps at the very least a push against this trend line here. Resistance, resistance, resistance. So yeah, there's no clear direction for me right now. I mean, it is looking still bullish to me. With counter trend line breaks, sitting on support. Smaller time frames are mixed. The stochastics down here, they oversold on some, overbought on some, in the middle on some. So I think it's best to wait to see what the Fed decides tonight, right? And then how the market reacts to that. And then based off that, I think we can then make a better decision on what needs to happen. But let's say it breaks further down, breaks the support, then we could see it move back below to where the linear chart has another trend line of support, could be potential support over there. But right now we have the first area of interest over here, and then my second area of interest is back down here. Right? Maybe we get another push down. And it continues up. So I'll send these charts to the group. Let's see what the Fed decides tonight. And then I think maybe later on or tomorrow, we can then maybe start looking for potential entries again. But for now, the signals are too mixed for me. There's too much unsurety. And this is, why I decided to take a break, man, because we are in an area where it's difficult, man, like up and down, logarithmic showing one thing, linear chart showing another thing. So, yeah, I think that's just the analysis for now. Let's wait and see what Jerome Powell says tonight, and then we can make a decision, I think, by tomorrow, which direction this thing is intending on going. Alright, guys. See you.